were actually annoying me about it because you would either text me during the show, pre-live is on, but you would either text me during the show or message me on the StreamYard private chat and be like, "Did you hit record?" I'm like, no. So go figure.
Yeah. So I'm looking. These are kind of the Narrow series are kind of funny looking. We're looking at the Kubota tractors, some of the tractors they offer out there, and the Narrow ones are kind of interesting. That
they're nice.
Yeah, they look a little funny though, but they almost look like, you know what they look like is that somebody took a picture and then stretched it. You know how you'll take a picture and stretch it out a little bit?
Here we go.
It almost looks like that.
We're ready to run, Greg.
Yeah.
Real lawns, real equipment, and real business. Work with your hands and do it with purpose. Turf Nerds on Turfs Up Radio, hosted by Evan Lindman and Greg Durbin.
Let this music fade into the abyss.
That doesn't sound so good.
Did it not?
No, I mean just the way you say it, into the abyss.
The
like
Oblivion?
It's never going to be used again, much like archival stuff.
It's funny, Greg, that song on when we did our YouTube live stream, I think on Friday or whatever it was, that intro, all that music is copyright free. You can use it, and then YouTube slammed me with something, and I tried to fight him on it, and then the person who claimed the copyright strike pushed back the other day. So I guess what I did is I just muted that section. So if you go on to our YouTube channel and watch that, it was like I think the show we did on Friday. So the first 20 seconds is just us just sitting there muted like this, just kind of bobbing around. But that song is fine, and I'll keep planting my flag on it until they hit us again, because they were threatening to terminate the Turf.
That's our
Nerds
intro
YouTube.
song.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, I have a backup one here. I was like trying to find it. For some reason, it's not.
For the Free For All song?
The Free For All song is fine. That's just
okay.
this. So that's fine. Nothing's copyright with that. But the one I did, I'm pulling songs. I mean, if you're going to get into social media and create, Greg and I were great. Greg's a creative. We bounce ideas off each other. Well, finally learned when we're really hitting the stride here on the podcast. You got to use the correct songs, because there's some sounds that we can't play here anymore. So because they're almost like the Gestapo, Greg. They're just out to get you. It's like, okay, I'm not trying, not making really
Somebody's
money
trying
anyways.
to find you. They want to make some money off of it.
Yeah, they're out to get you, aren't they?
Yeah. Not that they're going to get much.
No, I mean, they're going to sue some lawn care guys who are doing a podcast, right? But hey, check it out. These guys, they're using our song. Let's just claim ad revenue sharing with them just to sink them. It's like, okay, well, you're not going to get any money anyways. So,
Yeah.
But Greg, we were just talking pre-show. Not that it really matters. I don't know much about it. If you're watching live, guys, so we air Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. on the YouTube channel, Turf Nerds Facebook channel, and Turfs Up Radio Facebook channel. I'm wearing green. I'm more green themed than Greg. He didn't follow suit with the St. Patrick's Day. Not that it really matters, right?
My pants have a little green in them, but I don't know if I need to stand up and show them. That is, as you mention it, but when I got up in the dark, it was everything looked green.
Here's our Irish
Everything
jig.
Looked blue. Everything looked black.
Happy St. Patty's Day to the lawn care folks. Watch me play that. We just got a copyright strike for that too.
Well, no, on this show, I don't think we don't get a copyright strike on that one.
No.
So, but the yes, so happy St. Patrick's Day today, guys. I don't know if people are going out and getting their corned beef and cabbage ready. So, do you have corned beef and cabbage for St. Patrick's Day?
I mean, I like corned beef. You know what I hate, Greg? And that's an interesting way to
like
lead that
cabbage.
off. I hate cabbage. Absolutely hate cabbage. We'll throw out the number 856-446-8873. Do lawn care and landscape guys like cabbage? Now, I never liked cabbage. Corned beef is good. Corned beef and hash is good. When I'm not out mowing, say we get done mowing on a Friday, I have a free Saturday. I'll do maintenance and stuff. But it's nice to wake up in the morning, Greg, and make some eggs bacon, maybe some hash, corned beef and hash. That corned beef, though, gotta admit, it's not always that. It's cheap. It's quite expensive.
Yeah, it is. I got it. I stopped at the local grocer, and there were 2 corned beefs left. And I just happened to be walking by them, and I was talking to my wife on the phone, and she says, "Oh yeah, stop and get some corned beef." Right when I hit the corned beef area, and there were 2 in the bin, so I went ahead and grabbed them, or grabbed one.
Or is it pastrami that's also quite expensive, isn't it? Pastrami?
I believe so. Yeah, yeah. Any of that processed food is expensive. So like turkey and from the deli, all that stuff. It's not good for you. And
they got some deli turkey from Boar's Head, right?
Yeah,
That's not good?
Well, it's got a lot of salt in it, I guess, a lot of sodium.
I like salt.
Any of that stuff is supposedly, if you go to cardiologists, will tell you don't eat that stuff. So
Yeah, and you have a reputable cardiologist, Greg, and we had her on the show. It seems like many moons ago, doesn't it?
yeah, it was a couple years ago, almost a couple years ago now. So I think one of our well listened to shows. It's been a while though. So might have to bring up some stuff on that again. So yeah, we've had some good. We've had a hearing specialist on. We had a cardiologist on. Who else did we have on? Somebody else. I'm blanking.
The eye guys.
Oh, the ophthalmologist. Yeah.
Yeah, the ophthalmologist. I kept getting that name wrong. So
One was an ophthalmologist. The other was an optometrist. They teamed up.
But that was a good show because we have to be able to see, not even with lawn care, Greg, any sort of, work, especially like the landscape design guys out there, you got to be able to see. And Greg's got on me. I've done a pretty good job of wearing eye protection. But as you said, Greg, you had read that one thing. It was an online where someone's like, "I'll just squint."
No, it's somebody I know that says I'll just squint.
What's your hearing protection? It's free. All I do is squint.
Yeah, my eye protection, I squint, and for hearing protection, I don't need that. So
it just amazes me. I mean, that's what's one thing you got to get on, guys, because we've been mowing. Even with eye protection, you're going around, dust gets everywhere, and I hate the lawns where there's stuff getting kicked up, and I'm like, how did this stick get inside my glasses? I mean, the mower will shoot stuff up. I've had things, Greg. You ever mowed like a pine cone like around a tree and stuff, and it ricochets off the tree, bounce up. It's hit my legs or my shoulders or even part of my face before. I've had things fly at me. It's like this is not like some war field. It's cutting the grass.
those pine cones hurt. If they get you right, yeah, they can hurt. Well, when you run them over, if there's a bunch of them and you run them over, they sound horrible underneath. I'm thinking I got to change my blades now.
I've taken rocks to the lips though too. That's flip edging, but every once in a while you've caught something on the lip and you have a big fat lip and you gotta be careful. But being able to see, if guys can see when they're cutting grass, they'll separate them because we've talked about it before. You're rolling down the street, Greg, going to the next lawn, and you have that old timer lawn landscape biz guy. He's just got a tank top on, shorts, high socks, no hearing protection. The mower looks like it's 35 years old, and he doesn't care. It's like, oh well, I guess it works.
Oh. I had a kid one time, I was trimming one of my customers, and he's right next door mowing his lawn, his parents' lawn. And I'm walking by him, and he's trimming, no glasses. And I looked at him and said, "Where are your glasses?" And he said, "Oh, my hair blocks it," because he had long hair. And he figured if I'm looking down and my hair's hanging down, it's going to block anything that comes up and hits him in the eye. So I'm going to go, yeah, you're dumb.
My hair blocks it. There is some brave guys out there. There are the bros out there, and they can do it. More power to them. Have you ever trimmed in shorts? 856-446-8873. I used to trim in shorts and high socks back in the day, but I was getting tired of coming home, having my legs just be grass stained, and you get quite the amount of cuts and bites from bugs when you trim in shorts. I mean, guys like it for ventilation. I guess you could wear, Greg, high knee protecting socks, which, I mean, that could work. I'm not comfortable trimming there in shorts because you don't know what's in the grass there. Like I had a tick on my tricep last year that I flicked off. So more protected you can be, I would argue, the better, because you keep beating your body down. You want to be able to keep up with this business and do it, then you should better take care of your temple, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm covered head to toe. There's about 4 inches of skin that's seen on me. So, because I wear the long sleeve tech shirts, I wear the hat, the sunglasses, and then eye protection, either tinted or not, depending on the day, or depending on what time it is. And then I wear a gaiter. And I tell you what, the gaiter really helps you when you're trimming too, because there's times where I've forgotten my gaiter, and I'll be trimming and I feel little pieces of stone and stuff coming up and hitting me in the face.
It's scary, isn't it? Almost. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to chip any teeth. I mean, you think some guys out there, Greg, have chipped a tooth when trimming stuff like that? They
That'd be
don't wear the
pretty
right
intense.
things.
That would be. I don't know. I would imagine people
Yeah.
that's happened, but that would be a pretty bad rock that popped up. So
And we
I
talked
saw.
about-
Although
yeah.
I tell you what, I saw. I was trimming lawn, and lava rock, which is two of our favorites, and
hate those
I hit a
things.
lava rock, and that thing probably shot 50 feet.
Oh, they could just go anywhere. I absolutely despise them. I mean, I'm trying to hear the crying. Lava rocks should be banned from the lawn care industry, period. They've ruined my blades, and they get in the yard, and you can't clean them up. And then try blowing around them, Greg, when you're doing a cleanup. I don't care how crafty you are. I'm very good on the blower with blowing stuff out, which we'll get into the main topic here in about 5 minutes. Where do they come from, these lava rocks?
Lava.
I don't know. drop a comment, guys. We have Cameron Duncan that says, "What trimmer are you using this year? May try out the Stihl FSA 135R." We'll kind of hop into this a little early. So the trimmers that I use, Greg, are the Echo 2620T and the Shindawa T262. What about yourself, Greg? We're quite similar there with the trimmers, aren't we?
I have the Shindawa, the T262. I have two of them. So I
yeah.
liked it so much, I just went ahead and bought a second one. I saw no reason to go out and experiment. The dealer I use, he'll carry, what's he carry? He carries Echo, he carries Shindawa, and then
Yeah.
he'll carry. I'm sorry.
Yes, I was just saying yeah, just to say yeah. Sometimes I just say yeah. Trust me, my wife's like, you just talk just to talk. Anyways, go on.
Oh, what else did he carry? Red Max? No.
Yeah, I thought he carried the Red Max.
Yeah, he does
Pretty
carry
sure
the
he
Red
did.
Max. Yeah. I didn't really care for the Red Max. I was using it and it died. I had issues with it and I think it was only a year and a half old and it just started breaking down on me. So I said, I don't want to use it again. And I said, what about the Echo? And he says, well, get the Shindawa. It's the same thing, but cheaper. And I've had one for 4 years.
They've been faithful, haven't they?
Yeah,
I mean, honestly,
4.5 years. Maybe.
you haven't had
No,
probably any problems with them.
I've had no problems. And you know what? I could be honest. I've never changed anything on them. I'd still
Really?
use the same fuel filter, same
Really?
air filter, and they're running fine. So they run the same as the newer one that I have.
Interesting.
So I've seen no difference in either of them.
I am looking at, so I kind of wanted to upgrade. So when you trim on the Segway, guys, I kind of like that heavier trimmer. It makes you feel almost more secure, ironically. And so I'm looking at it here. They have the Shindawa 302X straight shaft trimmer, which is, it's funny. It says the straight shaft trimmer effortlessly tackles tough wet grasses. Its magnesium fan housing reduces weight, improves durability, and enhances handling while being more resilient to wear and tear. Interesting. Magnesium, Greg. Designed for professional power, it delivers the performance needed for demanding jobs and can seamlessly switch to blade use for added. Oh, this one. Oh, it's a power attachment series one, right? Can easily
Okay.
Can seamlessly switch to blade use, right? So if you wanted to put like a, I don't know, some sort of blade on there, I guess that's what I mean.
Chop some trees. Some
Correct me.
Skinny trees, probably.
Because they have the Shindawa T302, which is the HDFH, which is with heavy duty fixed head. Oh, is it tough? It's tough enough to manage thick grasses and weed. Because I'm thinking about getting this. They're about $550, Greg. But if it's a heavier trimmer, oh, yet again, I could be wanting to be all howdy touty about the heavier trimmer. Then you trim there on the Segway, then I'll start complaining to you about having back problems, right?
Don't you have that heavier Echo?
I got rid of that one.
Okay.
What was that? That was the Echo. Oh man, shoot, guys, help me out here. Drop a comment. Echo. There's the 2620T. I think I had. It was the Echo 3060T or something like that. I'm trying to remember here. I almost just searched here in the wrong window. Echo string trimmer. I'm drawing a big blank on it. All the different just model names can throw me off there. It is the you
Yeah,
have to do it.
while you're looking, I'll stall for you.
Yeah,
I
stall me,
was when we tried out that Echo walk behind trimmer,
Oh yeah,
and then you had that Echo, and I didn't. Ironically, I didn't really care for either. I just thought the handheld was a little heavy, and then that walk behind, I didn't really care for it. Mostly because I didn't really see a lot of. There are two reasons. I didn't really see a lot of difference between that and just using a handheld trimmer. And the
Yeah.
other thing was Cameron says maybe the 3020.
yeah. I think it was the Echo 3020. That thing was heavy, Greg. It was like,
But yeah, but changing the trimmer line on that walk behind trimmer, that was a pain. And
that was. I hated that thing. I mean,
Yeah.
we did a video on that. I despised that. Right? It was
we were trying to be kind about it, but
It was an Echo brush cutter, guys, and we had used it when I was part of the UAG, and it was just a walk behind brush cutter. I don't even remember the model. I had sold it. Go look it up. But we had quite the fun time with that, didn't we?
yeah, we took it through some stuff. But after, we had to stop and change the trimmer line. And that took time.
took us like
It
20
took
minutes,
15,
right?
20 minutes. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
first time doing it, we had to make sure, we had to do it correctly. And then the next time, so it probably took us 20 minutes. And then the next time, if we had to change it again, it probably would have taken us 10 or 15, which is, who wants to stop and spend 10, 15 minutes changing trimmer line? That didn't make any sense.
That was irritating us, Greg. Okay, so now it's time. Let's get into this. So we talked about yesterday, guys. If you listened, it's on the podcast platform. We talked about how to properly mow our lawn, at least how Greg and I think it should be done. We're open for debate here. But here's the thing. You can mow a lawn perfectly. Great stripes, great cut height. Everything looks awesome. That's what we like to see. And then ruin the entire job in the last 5 minutes because finish work matters. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Some finish work, trimming, edging, blowing. Those three things can absolutely make or break your lawn business. This is artistry here, guys. We are artists because when the customer walks outside, they're not thinking about your blade sharpness or deck height. I mean, come on. They really aren't unless you're cutting with basically butter knives. They're looking at, is the lawn clean? Are the edges sharp? Are the sidewalks and driveways spotless? That's the stuff that the clients notice, and then we should notice too. And if you master those three things, it's like the Trinity, Greg. You will separate yourself from a lot of operators out there. I mean, I've only had my cut quality knocked once, Greg, in my 16-year run. The customers, at the end of the day, they just want the tall grass short, but the finish work can separate you big time, Greg.
Yeah. The finish work is really important, and then we can get into some of that stuff. But yeah, it's really, and I have to admit, I'm not the best trimmer, and but once in a while I'll usually when I'm on a hill, I'll get a scalp in or something. I'm kind of moving my trimmer around, and I'll turn and boom, I'll hit the side of the hill. And I got a nice gouge right there. Or when I'm going along, I'm moving along, all of a sudden I hit a high spot and I'll scalp a little bit. So, or not scalp, but kind of burn it. So, for lack of a better way.
And we're going to talk about that though too, because why finish work? Why does it matter here so much? Maybe I'm OCD, I'm crazy, but finish work, it's our final impression on the lawn, and customers they do notice these details. I've been knocked before. You've trimmed that too low. A sloppy finish ruins a great mow. So you have grass piles in beds, dirt sprayed all over the driveway, clippings left in the sidewalks and cracks. Oh man, we're getting to blowing later on too. Finish work is the difference between a cut lawn and a professional lawn. It really is. And here's how we've kind of done it, Greg. We've gone back and forth here, and you've tried other techniques, but I usually and always trim after I mow. And I want to make the case here of why I think it's a tad more efficient. A lot of operators do things differently. I'm open ears here. Call us, 856-446-8873. Some trim first, some trim last. But in my experience, for Evan Lindman's experience, trimming after mowing is much more efficient. And my reason, when you trim before mowing, you're actually creating more work. You end up trimming grass that the mower would have cut anyway, because when I mow, I can get pretty close to the edges. I get very close. I try to get up to that wall without bashing and hitting things, which I've done that before. That means, so I'm only trimming what the mower truly missed, less trimming, less time, cleaner results, And when it comes to edging, edging isn't edging first isn't necessarily wrong, but if you edge first and then you drive your mower across the driveway, you can basically just run over dirt that you just edged and stay in the concrete. I mean, I've done that. So again, efficiency matters, Greg. We've gone back and forth, haven't we?
Yeah, I've pretty much gone to trimming after cutting, and then and I've found that it works a lot better. There are times when I will trim first when the lawn's wet, like it's got a heavy dew on the ground. I'll go through and I'll blow. I don't have huge lawns, but I can go up to half-acre lawns. But I'll blow the lawns off first to get the dew off. Then I'll trim, because that way I'm getting the grass to dry up a little bit more, and then I'll cut. But I did find though that when I was doing that, it was taking me longer in the day, partially because I had to blow off the grass, but I was still spending a lot more time trimming because because I was just thinking, okay, well, I'll just take this while I'm here. Well, I could have hit that with the mower.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I was so used to blowing off the grass first that I was just grabbing my trimmer right away, even the times when I didn't have to blow off. And that's when I realized how much longer it was taking me, because I was just trimming, and I could have saved myself a lot more time without doing that.
Because guys, I mean, we touch on trimming more too. I've run with the guard on and the guard off. Now I exclusively run it with the guard off, but I'm not having it much longer than what it would be with the guard on. The reason why they have the guard on there for the warranty. And at the end of the day, I think you would really have to, I mean, these trimmers, you can't run like 3 feet anyways though too, but I've seen guys that have had trimmers for 7 years with the guard off and they've been fine. I think Echo like even told me that you're not really, Echo, when I was part of the UAG, I would have to remember what exactly the engineers said, but they had said you're not really damaging the engine on it when you do it like that. I think you can burn out the clutch, but I ran with the guard on for several years, and I was getting sick of not being able to hit certain spots, Greg. Like the only problem, like with that guard on, and what I noticed, Greg, it would sometimes keep feeding out string because it kept keep cutting. Because I am a stringaholic. I will just keep that length of the string is basically as long as I can all the time. And we've gone back and forth there with the guard, Greg, haven't we? There's nothing wrong for guys who use them. Try it out. I mean, and you tried trimming first and experimenting, Greg, and that's great. Like we've experimented with our businesses and what we find out what works.
But we don't recommend taking the guard off.
Yeah, if you want to get it, if anything's under
For
warranty here,
our
guys.
standpoint, we don't recommend you take the guard off.
Here's a great drop, Greg. When I take my trimmer up to Weingarts, they recommend you put the guard on, right? Before you give them to do work.
What did I see one time in one of the groups? The guy would take his trimmer up to the shop, and he had his guard off, and he'd take his trimmer to the shop, and when it came back, it had a brand new guard on it. They would just automatically charge him for it, so
I don't think they're cheap either.
I'm sorry?
I don't think they're cheap either, those guards.
No, nothing's cheap. But yeah, but I had I took my guard off of that Red Max. I don't think I used the thing a month, and my clutch was shot. And so that was one of the reasons that irritated me is it didn't. I don't know. There might have been something else going on, but it was odd that after a month of having my guard off, the clutch was gone. So
yeah, because then you have like my buddies Derek and Ryan at Metro. They've guard off since before they were born, and they're sitting there, and their trimmers are fine. Their trimmers are honestly in good shape. They're fine. They run. I guess you do lose compression over time because the pistons that I guess air wears out, and them it's not as efficient. I had sold some trimmers, some misfit trimmers to a guy on Facebook Marketplace years ago, and he actually brought a compression instrument to kind of measure it. I think good compression's between like 120 to 145. I haven't done that much research on, but compression with the trimmers, Greg, truly matters here. And okay, trimming, this is detail work, guys. This is truly detail work. And we are the Bob Rosses on the lawns. It's tough, it's physical, it's hot, it's blood money. and there's a lot of detail, and we should treat this like a craft. Even before you start trimming along, you should already have a mental map of the yard. I do this. I treat this like a video game. When you're starting, when you're finishing, where the obstacles are. Think of the lawn like a racetrack, and this is what I do. There should be a start point, a route, and a finish line. And ideally, your finish point should be, like you should end as close to your truck as possible. Obviously, granted, that will not always happen. The way and like that way you're not walking extra steps. Greg, our aim of the game, when you have to get up and trim, you don't want to walk any more step than you have to. Like, if I can save one step throughout the day, then that's a victory.
Well, it's interesting because you see people that will they'll walk back and forth. What do they call it when you're hiking?
Like switchbacking.
Switchbacking. I'll see guys that look like they're switchbacking when they're trimming. No, don't do that. Just pick yourself, like you said, the route is really important because you can save yourself a lot of time. And I had somebody helping me one time, and I said, oh, yeah, you should be done with this one in a couple minutes. Start blowing. I'll get the front lawn taken care of for you. And then as soon as you're done trimming, you can start blowing. And I said, this will be quick for you. This lawn will be quick for you. Well, I was done mowing before they were done trimming because they were switchbacking. They were just going
They didn't know where to
all
go.
over the place, and I started blowing everything off before they were done. So, that is really important. When I was in sales, my old sales career, the guy asked, "Who wants to be a star salesman?" And everybody raised their hand, and I knew,
I do.
you're lying. Something's wrong here. And so I didn't even raise my hand. I never raised my hand for any of those kind of setup
Me neither.
questions anyway.
Don't call on me in high school, Greg.
Anyway, he says, "Oh, so you wanna go over here and go over here and go over here," and he designs this shape of a star, which had always stuck with me. But he just said, make sure you got yourself in a good route, and when you're driving around to see clients, so that you're not driving all over the place. And that was really important. And the same thing with your lawn. Granted, it's not a big lawn, but you're like you said, you're wasting a lot of steps unless you're trying to hit your 10,000 steps that day. Don't.
When before the Segway, guys, I would walk at least 10 miles a day. Now it's much less than that. And you touch on a fair point, Greg. Trimming direction matters here. Commercial trimmer heads, as far as I know, they spin counterclockwise, and maybe the residential ones spin the other way, those curved shaft. But that means the grass is discharged to the left side of the trimmer, okay, at least for how ours work. So if you're trimming near mulch bed or obstacles, you probably should trim in a direction that throws the grass away from the beds, not into them, because I've worked with, like, even Zach. I guess trimming direction matters because I'm left-handed. Some guys are right-handed, and they'll go kind of the direction. So if you're right-handed, maybe the house will be on the left side. And it's spinning counterclockwise, that head, and you're shooting a whole bunch of grass into the mulch beds, because I've seen guys trim in the wrong direction. Oh, wrong, I guess when we talk about wrong, I mean, it's all, I guess, subjective here. Here, wait.
Wrong.
At least, but they've trimmed in the wrong direction, and they've absolutely just loaded the beds with clippings, and it creates more cleanup. You want to get in there, Greg, get out, not have to blow off every single mulch bed because the guy trimming shot everything everywhere. Trim with the rotation, not against it. And it's true, and I think a lot of guys don't think about that.
It's funny. I had a client came out one time, and older client, and she had somebody weeding her beds, and hired somebody to weed her beds. And she came out and says, "Well, don't kill the messenger, Greg, but she said my weeder was telling me that you're trimming in the wrong direction, and you're blowing grass into their beds." And I looked at her and I said, "She's wrong." And she says, "What?" I said, "The reason I'm going this direction is because it blows the trimmings into the grass and not into your beds." So the ladies, sometimes these guys think them and the fertilizer people sometimes drive me nuts because
they always accuse us.
Yeah, they accuse us. And they're the ones tearing up everything, and or they think they know more than they do, and I'm clearly trimming in the correct direction, so I'm not blowing grass in. And I thought that was kind of interesting that they were trying to blame me. And she said, "Well, the reason you have weeds is because your guy is trimming in the wrong direction." And I said, "No, the reason you have weeds is because beds get weeds."
Yeah, I don't care how pristine it looks, Greg. Even with bed guard down, weeds will come back, and it keeps the guys here in business. It's funny talking about that. people have asked me, Greg, if I, get into weeding. That's just some grunt work. It's like painting. We have our studio down here. It's painted. It's finished. It's trimmed up. It's done. Shout out to my buddy Derek Sutherland over at Metro Lawn Care, Greg. In the winter, when he's not plowing snow, he works for this metal siding company, so he kind of knows how to do trim work. Finished carpentry trim work, guys. That's detail work, and we should take that pride and treat that the same way with trimming. Trimming lawns. It's really huge, and So back to weeds. I don't think. I mean, maybe $100 an hour to pull weeds, Greg. It's just something that I just didn't really want to get into. And then on top of that, I don't want to pull a weed that has poison ivy in it. Or, I mean, yeah, sure, wear gloves, but I was hedge trimming, Greg. This is years ago. They're burning bushes, probably like 7 or 8 years ago. And the guy walks outside and says, "You know what? I think there's poison ivy in this burning bush." I said, "No, there's not." I got done trimming it, went home. I was covered. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's bad. But pulling weeds, I don't like it.
No, I don't like pulling weeds. I had one account that wanted me to pull weeds for him, and he had so many weeds, and it would take so long, and he was too worried about how much he was. "Oh no, Greg, I'll pay you this much," and I finally no, I can't do this anymore. And it was hours that I'd spend pulling weeds, and I just said, "No, I can't do it. I don't have time." And on top of it, he didn't want to pay me. And so he hires some guys that come out and do it for next to nothing. But the funny part is they throw it all into garbage bags, and they put it by his dumpster. They don't even put it in the dumpster.
Wonder why.
And he has to call me and say, "Hey, Greg, can you put that stuff in the dumpster for me? Why didn't your guys do it?"
I absolutely hate when they do that. Like, I guess the lawn guys, they get relegated to the weird responsibilities, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I mean, we have a high class job here. 856-446-8873. Does your company, or do you work with people that weed? Do you offer weeding services though too? Yeah. Well, I had to kind of pivot. I had a client, Greg. He paid well. I cut his house and his mother's house. Talked about this on the podcast, and he had said this. This was before I had more of a backbone with my business. He goes, "Hey, after you get done mowing and everything, just spend 5 minutes and pull the weeds out of my beds." And I did it like once, and I stopped, and he fired me. But that's okay. That was completely okay. You live and you learn. Looking back at it, I should have told him, fine, $125 an hour if you're going to waste 5 minutes, each of my lawn. So, which is absolutely huge. So, Greg, this is a big one, and we've already touched on this here a little bit, guys. Don't scalp or burn the lawn. We've all been there, and we all still do it. I've worked with burners. I've worked with the most burners of burners. One of the biggest mistakes operators make when trimming, scalping the grass. I repeat, don't scalp it. Clients notice that immediately. Oh, we've almost been fired because I've gotten texts from clients when Zach used to work with me because Zach was being careless. Zach knew how to trim the right way, but he was being careless, and they said, "Zach's trimming way too low." And they would notice that immediately. I've gotten several texts. More than anything else, yes, trimmers are designed to be run at full throttle. That's how they're actually designed. Running at full throttle helps burn the carbon buildup in the exhaust port, but that doesn't mean you always should run at full throttle. Certain grass types and areas require control. They really do. Depending on the area, you want to it's like brushing something. You're going to brush, you're going to be an artist. Feathering the throttle is often the best approach, at least for me. Be an artist there on the trimmer, Greg. I mean, we don't always run full throttle, do we?
No, I cut back and forth. For the most part, I'm running full, but I'll switch back and forth to get it done. Switch back and forth hands, depending on which way. Are you ambidextrous on the trimmer?
No, guys, I'm a left-handed trimmer, so I'll actually have my left hand on the trigger there and I'll hold it. And I've actually burned my arm before because of the way these trimmers are kind of laid out, Greg. I've burned and shocked my arm because my tricep hits the what's it called, the spark plug boot, and I've gotten shocks before. But you can trim both ways, can't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good trimming both ways. It's just you really need to learn how to trim both ways. Because it'll save you time if you can trim with both hands or both ways. And yeah, you gotta be really careful out there when you're trimming. I'll hit full throttle and then taper it back depending on where I'm at. So it just kind of depends on what's best for you. But learn how to trim both ways, and that's gonna help you quite a bit.
It's funny, guys. We've all been there before, and I know you guys listening have too. You're trying to train someone on how to trim. Oh, this is why I work solo. Trust me, I had someone for 10 years and I tried even after the pandemic to work with people unless they already have experience. You're only going to work with me if you have experience and you know how to trim. I want someone who can trim better than me. You should think in some respects that you're the best. No one can do it better than Evan. No one can do it better than Greg. No one can do it better with Cameron from the Lawn Care Life. And
Mozeri.
you want to be the best, but also there's humility that comes with that. We just don't go around and think that we're like the best. And so,
So my son actually was a pretty good trimmer.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one
Miles,
time
yeah.
I was doing something, and he was helping me out one day, and I looked, there was this hill in one of the neighbors' lawns I couldn't get the mower on, so you had to hand trim that whole spot. Not that it was huge, but you just had to hand trim it. And I'm going by on my cut, and I look, and I went, man, he trims that better than me.
some
And
of
the
these
client
guys,
even
yeah.
said he trims that better than you.
Have you
So-
seen it, Greg? Some of these guys can like trim areas, and it looks like they push mode it. Honestly, I've been jealous of some of these. I guess this artistry work with guys behind the trimmer here. Let me hold one thought. Let's take a quick ad from Turfs Up Radio here. Hold on, guys.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
So, Greg,
Yeah,
reason
that's
why
pretty neat, though.
Yeah.
Comment
Oh, it
on
is.
that.
Oh, it is.
Project Evergreen, that's really good. Military guys, we want to thank them for their service.
Oh yeah, we got to
And-
support them here on the show. We
Yeah.
we interviewed someone, Greg. We haven't released it yet. We interviewed someone in the service, and he's going to give us a charge and encouragement. I think we're going to drop that episode this upcoming week here.
Yeah.
Andy, a great trim job makes the job stand out. It does. And reason why I was saying before, Greg, I kind of work solo is because you hire these guys in. I'm sure it takes time, and there's patience though too. But when you hire someone to just trim the first time, expect us to light money on fire. That's how it's going to work. They're not going to be efficient. They're not going to do it right, and I love it. They'll get the string all the way down to nothing, and they'll just be going around. And I have to come over there and stop them and say, "Hey, buddy, keep the string trimmer length at like a decent length. Don't have it. You don't have to have it crazy long, but don't have it too short there." And it's just it's some pride that can get in your way, but it's like literally lighting money on fire, Greg, when you're trying to train someone.
It's hard because it takes somebody a week to be relatively comfortable. And then sometimes, I mean, you just don't get them that long. And so that's the hard part. I had one person to help me out a few years ago, and then they started, oh, I can't help you on this day. I can't help you on this day. And I finally said,
They
all right,
ran
thanks
away.
anyway. And but the thing I got to admit though, the thing about trimming is it's kind of boring, and it's like you said, it's blood money. It's hard, and trimming's the hard part, especially if you have somebody tall. I had somebody help me one time. It was like 6'3", 6'4", and they're bent over the whole time. And for you and I, we gotta admit, it's not so bad for us because we're just about the right height to be carrying around a trimmer. So.
They've asked me, Greg, how come you haven't used the Darwin's grip? I'm like 5'7". If I'm liberal, I'll say I'm about 5'7". My back's never really hurt that much trimming. It's all about posture here in this business, Greg, and I've touched on this. Teach your employees and even yourself to trim as wide as you can within reason here. I think crews trim too tight because they assume the mower can reach every corner. It's not always true. If trimming isn't wide enough, the mower misses grass, the lawn looks sloppy, and it's just a good reminder to you guys too, because I've had my brother and people who have helped me, they haven't worked with me there in a while, and I'll go around, I'll get really close, and they'll miss parts of the corner because they assumed that the mower could get to it, and that's huge. It's absolutely huge. I mean, try to get as close as you can to stuff, but within reason, because I've gotten too close, Greg, and I've mowed over rocks and hit parts of things that I shouldn't because I was trying to mow too close because the guy trimming wasn't getting close enough. And you have to be nice and ingrain it into them. So trimming wide as possible. There's some guys that can trim huge backyards and areas.
I had one guy that helped me one time that I couldn't get back to one area because there was a wet spot, so I wasn't going to get back there to mow. He wound up trimming the whole thing, and it did a really nice job. So, he would run that string out really far too, and I was going, wow. I don't like that when the string is way out.
It's like
but
4 feet.
it's
They're
nice.
like just going
Yeah,
around, right?
yeah, it seemed like it, but it gives them a lot opportunity to make a wide trim. And but what I try to do is, if somebody helps me, I mean, I don't have somebody helping me very often, but I try and I say, okay, give me like 3 minutes and let me get my perimeter done around where they're going to need to be, because that's going to help them see where I need to trim, or where I need them to trim where I can't get to. Like there was one spot in that same spot where on that hill, when my son would help me, I'd say, all right, give me a second, and then there's this one spot where I would have to go down, and they had some burning bush that I almost took out one time. And it was down a hill, and I slid a little bit. I was like, uh-oh. And I might be buying some new burning bushes here. And fortunately, I was able to turn. But that way he could see where I could not get. And that's when it finally clicked on him that, oh, yeah, I need to trim wide. So
I'm glad you said that. Like, to really teach the guys of what they need to trim, it's really huge. Have yourself go around on the mower first and map out the areas, and then Billy Bob Jones will know where to trim and see, okay, Greg missed this. This is how wide I need to get while trimming, and then they'll become that artist. So we talked a lot about trimming, Greg, here. Let's hop into edging here, because this is crucial. I've gotten clients this way. Edging is the detail that pops. Literally, it pops. It really gives that lawn the finished look. Clean driveway edges, sharp sidewalk lines, which is huge, and defined curves. That's what makes the lawn stand out. Personally, I don't use my stick edger that often because I flip edge with my string trimmer most of the time. I've learned that skill. I don't really recommend that. Stick to the stick edger, guys. Don't always do what I say. Just do what don't always do what I do. Do what I say. But what's the benefits when I flip edge? I think I'm faster on it, less concrete damage, and it's good control. I can flip edge on a Segway going 10 miles an hour, which, I mean, that's not really anything to brag about. It's probably stupidity. But a stick edger, it's very useful for the first time you're edging lawns that are overgrown, Greg. And we've done, with the Golden Edge, your dental office, we had edged the sidewalk for the dental office last year, and that did a really good job. Sure, you could try to chip away something with a string trimmer edging, but if you really want to get all that sod out, use a stick edger, either a Golden Edge or a regular blade, and we did some work there and made that look really nice, didn't we?
yeah, the downside of the Golden Edge is replacing sprinkler heads. And I was using that Golden Edge a little bit, and I think I replaced 4 sprinkler heads, and the Golden Edge was gone because it wasn't saving me any time or money. And so I just said, okay. But I do use a stick edger. I know you trim and you flip edge, but I
You could
use
do
a
it
stick
too, Greg.
edger.
I've seen you use it. Flip
I
edge.
can.
Yeah.
I've done it, but I just go to the edger, the stick edger, because for a couple of reasons. It just gives me a nice line, and then for my wrist, for whatever reason, just the angle of the turn on the when I flip edge, it irritates my wrist. So I just said, okay, I'm going to go to the stick edger. It takes, I got to go back to the mower or the trailer and grab the edger, and but I found it does help. And then the other thing is I'm always, because I'm not that good where I go through a lot of string, and so I'm always tapping that thing to get more string out. But that's the other thing is maybe if I did it more, I wouldn't go through more string. But I find that I'm constantly tapping it to get more string. So
This Golden Edge, guys, 856-446-8873. Have you ever used the Golden Edge? I used to use it all the time because you could use the Golden Edge. It creates a much bigger gap with edging, and you can get it down where you only need a hard edge once a month. But I buried several garage doors in dirt using the Golden Edge, and also cars.
Oh yeah.
My buddy Nick said he was using the Golden Edge when it was like really wet outside. He's like, yeah, I just plastered this car. So he put like a $20 bill on the car and wrote a note that said, I'm sorry. It's going for $42 right now. It's a really cool invention though. But 856-446-8873. My stick edger. Well, Cameron asked you, Greg, what stick edger are you running? I have one of the Red Max stick edgers, but what are you running, Greg? Here, I'll try to look mine up here.
Mine's a Shindawa. I don't remember which one it is. And by the way, Buster was on the show yesterday, and he sent us a video of him. While I'm thinking about it, he sent us a video on using his mega attachment, his mulch His mulcher?
mulch bucket. Yeah.
Mulch bucket. Thank you. And it was kind of cool. And it looked like it was really easy to work with, lifting that thing up. And I think he was pretty he was pretty good about it. So I want to acknowledge
Yes.
that he had sent us that. So I'm trying to think.
I use it's the Redmax HEZ 3060S. It's going for about $500 to $550. Great stick edger. That thing's got some punch here, but let's kind of talk about this though, Greg. Some edger technique and I guess safety here. Efficiency still matters with the stick edger here. Map the driveway and sidewalks the same way you would trimming. So there's an outline here, like you're cutting out stuff. And remember, because of where the wheel guide sits, there's basically one correct, like I guess, direction to edge. Because you could, if you put the wheel guide in the wrong way and have it on the grass and not on the concrete, you just look silly and you don't really edge the right way. Because edgers, they can throw rocks and debris. Personally, I've broken windows before because I wasn't paying attention. Zach has busted 2 windows because he would edge with one hand on the stick edger and he would turn to go from like the front porch down the driveway, and it was on an angle, and he took out some windows. So I paid for that. And you don't have to run it full throttle after the edge has already been in that maintenance control. Use control, and so the blade doesn't bounce on the concrete. Okay, and guys, we talk about this here a lot. That edger has this like plastic guard here, like on the bottom, and not plastic, metal guard there on the bottom, and it's just it can just get totally bent, and it's not even fun, Greg. I mean, I've gone through a lot of those, haven't you?
The guard for the yeah, mine's gone. It doesn't even exist anymore for shooting that stuff up. Mine is the commercial. It's the 262 edger curved shaft is what I use. And as I was looking it up, Cameron was asking which one it was, but mine's a 262 curved shaft edger, and it allows me to stay a little bit cleaner, so I'm not shooting all that stuff all over me. So when I went to get the edger, the guy asked, "What do you want, a curved or a straight shaft?" And I said, why would I want to go with the curved? He says, then you're not shooting stuff all over you. So that's
a good
why
point.
I go with the curved.
I didn't really know they made a curved shaft edger commercial line. I thought that was more like a residential deal, like same with trimmers. I think curved shafted trimmers are residential, but that's interesting. So you like yours then, Greg?
Yeah, I like the edger. It's it does a nice job. Once in a while, it for some odd reason when I started it struggles a little bit. So I'll start it up and let it run for a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, and then go from there. But it's a good trimmer or a good edger. I don't have any problems with it, and gives me some nice lines. Once in a while, I'll switch to that golden edge, depending on the lawn.
Oh, yeah.
If I haven't done anything, but yeah, like I said, I've taken out too many sprinkler heads. Even with the with this one edger, I've taken out a couple of sprinkler heads.
Well, these guys, they place it. Maybe have Eric Jones come in. They literally place the sprinkler heads. They butt it up against the concrete and the grass, and sometimes you can't see it. And write that into your contracts, though, too. That's actually absolutely a fair point, Greg, and huge with that. So, what I also do here, which we'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We've had some good comments here. Is I had kind of hold the edger when I do use my edger. I hold it at a slight angle going inward, and I feel like it keeps the dirt down, and it really kind of create that nice sharp edge and kind of have things pop. Because curb appeal, Greg, is huge. And on my flyers back in the day, I would put like a weekly edging, and people love that. People loved, oh, my lawn service would only come here and edge once a month. Well, I could structure yourself where you hard edge once a month and flip edge the rest. I just flip edge, but it's really important, Greg. I've gotten several clients, as I said before, just because I actually edged weekly. It's huge.
All right, here's something. But you just mentioned something and doing monthly. There's an opportunity for you guys to make a little bit of money just doing edging. And I know a guy that has a business that all he does is edge, and that's his entire career. And he makes really good money doing it. But you can charge $15 to $20. Really? Yeah, you can charge $15 to $20 to edge somebody's lawn or sidewalk and curb once a month, and I'll do that with one. I've got a couple of clients where I do that. That's all I do is edge, and they're right next door to the lawn I'm already cutting, so I'm not going out of my way to do it.
And talk about this, Greg. There's almost no overhead. You spend $500 in a truck. You could edge out of your van. It's honestly a genius way. You restructure your business. We were supposed to get this guy on the show, Greg, but he's been so busy. But doesn't he have over 1,000 clients?
Yes, 1,500 accounts, and he drives everywhere. He drives a lot, and but he goes everywhere and makes good money doing it. So if you think about it, 1,500 clients, $15, that's $25,000 a month, just doing that. What's Cameron say? One guy walked down the street and asked for a
Yep.
quote
Because his lawn care, yeah.
provider wouldn't offer edging.
It's amazing, but guys. This is detail work. Spend an extra 2 minutes. Come on. Why do we think we can brag? We have like dense routes. It's because we do that little extra detail work. And flip edging for me weekly is fine, but get that hard edge first with the stick edger. Okay, Greg, let's talk about this here too. Blowing. Situational awareness. I am huge on this. The very last step when you do this, the lawn's blowing. It seems simple, but I would argue many operators probably do this poorly. First thing to check the wind direction. Use the wind to your advantage. Figure out where the wind's blowing so you have guys out there that are not just blowing aimlessly onto the street. Don't fight it. And remember, you don't always have to, you don't always need full throttle when blowing. Full throttle is great when clearing driveways and cracks, clearing heavy dirt, but in beds or patios, I often blow, like idle blow the debris, Greg. I mean, it's funny teaching guys how to blow. Sometimes they just don't know. They're either have like the throttle open all the time and they're going through rock beds, blowing rocks everywhere. Mm-hmm. You think it's a basic thing, but just be patient with people and teach them. They kind of have to blow with the way you're kind of mowing and where the wind's blowing too.
Yeah, taking advantage of the wind is really important. How many times have you and I texted each other and said, I don't have to blow today because the wind is so strong?
That 15 house stop took me far less time.
Yeah, that's taking advantage of the wind. So, but yeah, you can, if you take advantage of that wind, that'll really help you. But yeah, blowing's important, making sure that you're getting everything cleaned off. I've got a guy that is next door to one of my clients. He was actually asking me to quote him. And his complaint was the guy never blew off or he doesn't blow off well. He'd always, after the guy was done.
Oh yeah.
Guy would, after the lawn company was done, they'd leave and the guy would walk outside and blow off his sidewalk and driveway.
Guys, I guess they just don't pay attention. It's a fine detail work. And line blowing and lawn appearance, Greg. Line blowing is huge. Another thing we'd mentioned earlier this week is line blowing. I touched on it, I think, on yesterday's show. Look at the direction you mowed the lawn or whoever mowed the lawn. If there are clumps in the grass, blow them in the same direction as the stripe pattern. Some operators blow clippings randomly all over the lawn. They just try to get everything out. I think it ruins your stripes because when you're on the mower, guys, and the mower's going, those front caster tires hit the grass first, and the deck sucks it up. It doesn't cut all the grass. That's just how it is, because you can go and dig up grass and see stuff that you missed. Blow with the stripes, not against them. What's your thoughts on that, Greg? Your take?
Yeah, you really need to do that. Sometimes I'll just hit spots, and then I'll look back and I'll see, I messed up my stripe. And I'll see a line where I'll be walking along and I'll hit that. And then turn around and look back when I'm 15 feet away and I see I messed up. Yes. So, yeah, blowing with it takes a little bit longer. And that's kind of a pain. But if it's important, though, if you want to keep your lawn looking nice.
And here's another thing that works, and we all should do this within reason, is going the extra mile. When you're almost finished blowing, take the extra mile. Can't talk. Cat's got my tongue. Blow off the windowsills, the patios, outdoor furniture, vehicles, mulch beds. These small details stand out. Can't tell you how many times I got texts from customers, Greg, that said, "Thank you for blowing off my back patio. It's full of helicopters, full of sticks, debris." Windowsills can be a hidden killer for us guys, because when you're shooting grass everywhere, I've missed them before and blow off the windows. I've shot grass on windows, Greg. Mm-hmm. It's a thing that can get you that extra lawn, that extra client, and that extra tip too. And to this day, I've still missed stuff, and shame on me, but it's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, and think about it though, that when you go back the following week and you look on that windowsill and you see a bunch of dead grass sitting there, and it doesn't
me.
look good. So, or a couple of weeks of dead grass if you didn't notice it. So, because here's something that's kind of important though, is when we talk about attention to detail, is we tend to do what we did the previous week. So if we forgot to blow off that windowsill one week, guess what? We're probably going to forget to do it the second week, and then all of a sudden it becomes a habit. So that's where we got to make sure that we're not rushing to get through stuff. We got to make sure that we're paying attention to our detail.
Those 5-sided bricks, Greg, when they're stacked up, grass can sit in between the cracks of them, and it is huge. It makes a big difference blowing those off. I've missed certain like mulch bed areas with I've had grass pile up in there. Try blowing off, guys. It's really tough. Try blowing off dead grass in a mulch bed. It literally cakes down. Like it's like glue, isn't it?
I have a
quite
client
fascinating.
I have a client. They have a rock wall, and I wasn't paying attention, and I was cutting, and I was blowing grass into their rocks. And when I was out blowing, all of a sudden I looked and went, "Ah, nuts!"
You were doing this.
And so now I have to. I either close my flip down the door or the chute blocker, or I cut the opposite way. And actually, what I've started doing is just because they've got this rock wall that I'll go up around, and I'll shoot out and do perimeters. And you mentioned that you're doing yesterday when you were talking about this. You do 3 cuts on your perimeter, and that keeps everything. I didn't
everything
realize
in.
you were doing that. When did you switch to going 3?
Well, you could even do this, guys, because I was tired of, as a solo operator, I'm furious of wasting time blowing. You could almost cut the whole lawn in the same direction, guys, and then stripe. Honestly, you could do that, though, too. The aim of the game, it's not even being lazy. My stripes look great, but I do the perimeters in the same. I started kind of doing that this past year because you could do the first perimeter, the second one, and then you could turn and go the opposite direction. But I just felt like I was still shooting grass on the street, even with the blocker down. So I just go 3 in the same way, shoot all the grass into the yard, and map some things out. There are certain areas, Greg, that you were talking about. You have to change directions. I can get it down where I could mow my entire week with no chute blocker because I've mapped it when we were testing out that Bobcat 52 that we had. I would turn up and down and back up and do weird like Macarena jigs just to try to not shoot grass in the mulch beds, and it works. It just get the grass away from the beds. It's really simple though too to do it. I mean, if I really took my time, I was maybe a tad more careful, I would never have to blow off almost any driveways except for when you edge. So perimeters, it's up for a debate. 856-446-8873. What do you think? We've heard from Cameron. We've heard from Andy here. We finally replied to Buster the other day. Sometimes these comments come in, Greg, and we forget because we're so deep in conversation, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, here's something too. Here's a question for you. Do you turn on the driveway?
You know what? I've got to do a little bit better job at that. I do. Here's the only way to properly turn on a driveway is you got to go slow and do like a K turn, because I've done the 0 turns on the driveway, Greg, and you can see the spots where I turned. It's like, oh crap, I'm gonna go power wash that. What do you think about that?
It's funny because inevitably, when I realized that I shouldn't have turned on the driveway, I shouldn't be turning on the driveway is if the lawn's a little bit wet. And then, so now I've got grass packed down on the driveway, and I got to try and blow that off and figure out how I'm going to get that off the driveway. So when you're talking about attention to detail and blowing, that's kind of a pain but sometimes it's the only place you can turn is on the driveway. And so that makes it a little bit more difficult. But
you just got to go slow on it. So say you're like coming off, like you're doing like a horizontal stripe pattern, and you hit the driveway, stop, kind of back up, and K-turn it through. Don't just try to be like circus show out there and just go really fast and just do a 0 turn. Clients, they've pushed me even as recently as 2 years ago. Hey, don't turn on the driveway like that. When in doubt, turn on something that won't damage the turf, but you should be good enough. Honestly, you should be as good enough, and we should all know this, that you can turn on almost any part of the lawn and not swirl it and not damage it up. It's just taking your time and simply slowing down. Greg, I called you God for some reason. Greg, God is good.
I just got elevated.
Yeah, there you go. But I had at Weingarts, Greg, someone who used to work at the Weingarts, a service manager. His name was Tim Parrish, and he would actually, so he sold parts, but he would actually like repair repair your engine like on the spot there for you. And he said the way to do it is when you were on the rider is like keep your knuckles close to each other, and if they're always close, like hitting each other, you that's one way to not swirl up a yard, because you always have both I guess steering handles going. Like if you keep both your tires spinning, you'll do less damage.
Yeah, yeah. And Cameron mentioned something about having to cross the sidewalk to get to the when you have to cross the sidewalk to get to the other section. So, yeah, that's the other thing is driving over. But yeah, it's kind of hard because you don't have much choice. But
So let's summarize this here, Greg, as we're going to run out of time. At the end of the day, guys, trimming, edging, and blowing are finished work. Finished work is what customers really and actually notice. Master these 3 things, and you'll separate yourself from a lot of operators here in the industry. I've done it. Took me a lot of time to learn. Treat this like art, because your lawns because when your lawns consistently look better, your reputation spreads. And as we always talk about, anyone can cut grass, but professionals finish the lawn, Greg, don't they?
yes, they do. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
I think that's it. I think we're going on to the Keeping Up with the Joneses with Eric and Jennifer. Oh, wait, we got like 15 seconds here, guys. Holy smokes. Having my coffee here.
Yeah. So, but thanks for joining us on the show, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Cameron, Andy, thanks for interjecting for us. It helps a lot. So if you guys have any comments, let us know.